Hi, and hello to all our Facebookers out there. Hey, we started a series this Wednesday. It was an introduction to our sex series called The Power of Sex. And yes, it's actually called an introduction because that's how much sex we're going to be talking about. It's a lot because sex is such a big, huge deal. And we're going to talk about it so much because the world is not scared to talk about it. And a lot of churches are. And if we're not going to talk about what the world's going to talk about, then there's not going to be good results. So we're going to make sure that we cover it really well. We're actually going to do it in a completely different style than what anybody's ever heard of. I'm not going to present any kind of venereal diseases or statistics or anything because, look, I don't really believe that you can scare anybody into keeping their virginity. And I know for parents, one of the biggest reasons why we want kids to save themselves for marriage is because of their relationship with God. Hey, but let's all face it, I'm 26 years old and I still have a problem valuing obedience myself. And somebody that's going to do that is only going to do that because they value obedience with their father. And so for most 13-year-olds, 17-year-olds, they're not going to value obedience. I mean, how many of them even take out the trash yet? I mean, seriously. So that's not really going to work either. What we're going to be doing for the next few weeks is we're actually going to be building value between with themselves, and we're going to give them plenty of reasons that in the value of setting yourself for marriage, and that's how we're going to approach the whole different thing. There's all different kinds of reasons why people have sex, or why children are having sex, and we're going to get into some of those, and we're going to debunk some of those. Sex is something that's extremely important. A lot of people try to say that it's not important, that everybody's doing it, and that it's no big deal anymore. But sex is a really, really big deal. And I know a lot of them are probably going to be thinking that I'm going to talk about how we shouldn't do it and how it's bad and so forth. And I'm actually going to do something completely different. I'm actually going to promote sex. I'm going to talk about how good sex is, how beautiful sex is, and how God created it to be something wonderful. And God, he said in John 10:10, He wants us to enjoy His creations to the fullness, and that's a creation of His, but in the right parameters, in the parameters of marriage, because sex is something wonderful. It's actually, God is a God of covenants, and it's the most important covenant that a man and a woman can make together, and that's what we're going to discuss, and we're going to put value into that. I wanted to give everybody a heads up. I know some of you don't want your children in there for our sex series because of the stuff that's going to be covered. So this is your heads up. We're going to be talking about sex, and so if you want to remove them, go ahead. I do encourage that you don't do that. There's plenty of people out there that are 12 years old or that are in 6th grade that are having babies and that are pregnant. And I assure you that if we don't talk about it first, then the world's going to beat us to it, because they will, and they're not going to hold back because they're worried about what your children think. And between the media that's already got a head start on us and what they're going to hear at school, we're already behind, and so we got a lot of stuff to cover. I do encourage you to let your kids come, and if you have any friends and you're one of the youth checking this out, hey, we're going to talk about sex. And make sure you bring everybody that you know, because I know that y'all love talking about sex, and we're going to get into it. And it's going to be a good time. It's going to be funny, and yeah, it's going to be crazy. So see you there.